Welcome back to Keeyzo's Corner Show. I have a lovely young lady in the building today, Vedeta Hanley, who has a clothing line or a couple of clothing lines and things going on. The label is called V Hanley, and she has a bunch of things going on. But let's welcome her to the Keeyzo Corner Show. How you doing, Vedeta?
Hi, how are you? Happy to be here.
Thank you for pulling up on me. You know, I'm in the fashion game too, so I like to ask, when it comes to interviewing people in my field, I like to ask like questions and, you know, things that I went through with our brand in the beginning and starting and all this stuff. So one of the things I want to know, because it wasn't my passion, but what made you get into fashion? Like, what was it?
I'm going to honestly say I think it was destiny.
Okay.
Because I went to school for graphic design and multimedia and web programming. But I actually come from a long line of like seamstress and tailors.
Okay.
Like it's in my blood. And like my grandmother, she actually came to America because she wanted to be a fashion designer. But, you know, she came in the 60s, so they were just like, yeah, that's not happening. But, you know, I'm here now, and she passed the torch to me. And then how I actually came into the fashion industry, that's why I said destiny, because I was actually doing websites.
Okay.
And I was working for a company, and they went out of business, so I started freelancing and just applying everywhere. And somehow a company called Dickies Workwear got my resume. They called me, and they were like, well, we're looking for, we're hiring graphic designers as fashion assistants because we need like CAD people. So if you could like pass this test, you're hired. I'm like, I'm a graphic designer. I could draw anything.
Right.
Easy. And I kind of just like went from there. I worked there and I was like, oh, I kind of like this. So then I went to like FIT, learned some more stuff about it, and then just started growing from there, working for like Ralph Lauren, Abercrombie. It was a good experience.
Yeah, you work. Looked at your information, and you work for a lot of brands. How is that? Like, did you work under them, or you just work for them and just created certain stuff?
Some of them were full time, some of them was freelance. So it just depended on the company, and some of them I started out freelance and ended up full time. So yeah, that's pretty much how it was. And then eventually I branched out and did my own thing called Illusion Designs, where I consult for, because like at one point, especially during like the FUBU era, and like during urban, it was just like, at one point, it's just like people were like, oh, can I hire you? Can I hire you? And I didn't want to say no after a while. So I just kind of started my own company. Right. And I just started like freelancing for like a bunch of companies at the same time and like doing tech packs. And I just had a team under us. That was like a fun time during that time.
Yeah, I know. I see you. You had a lot of services under there. Are all the services in one package, or are they individual packages? Like,
it's however you want. So we could actually, if you come in and just say, hey, I want a brand, this is my budget, and this is a kind of a vision, we could literally just take that from beginning to end and have you ready for stores. But if you're just like, hey, I just need a spec person, or I just need a tech pack, or I just need a graphic, we got all that covered as well. And now, like, actually we relaunched that company as well. So now, not only that, we also incorporated, we have like some 3D designers that do clothes, and so yeah, we're growing.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Because, you know, I know for me, and when we got into the business, it was, we did a lot of trial and error. Like, you know, we didn't really go to school for it. We didn't go to school for it. Jay was the only one who was going to FIT, and he was kind of bringing back information for us to, like, really, you know, kind of take that next step forward. But people think it's easy to get into the fashion.
Not easy.
They always tell me, they say, oh, man, you guys are lucky. And I'm like, no, it's not luck. It was a lot of work. It wasn't a lot of luck.
Devil wears Prada. That's real.
Oh, yeah, that's for real. Because they didn't think we were a real fashion house when we first got into the business. No. And they still don't really.
And you know what? If you look at the numbers, the sales during urban area, like during that time, the sales was ridiculous. Like the economy was like growing. And honestly, when I'm talking about numbers wise sales, the numbers aren't the same.
No, they
It's
not.
not the same.
And you know, a lot of people ask me, "Hey, you think be another FUBU?" And I'm like, it could be.
FUBU is FUBU. No one can
No,
replace that.
but in the sense of how big it was, you know, and back then we were looking for something to attach ourselves to. Now these kids today, they're like looking for something to detach themselves from. You know what I mean? Because you know, you're on something for you can't build a brand if somebody's on you for 6 months. It's impossible. Like when you look at these huge brands who've been around 30, 40, 50 years, you have generations, you know, from the family wearing the same brand.
Right.
Like the grandfather introduced it to the son, and the son introduced it to his son, and they're just continually wearing it, you know, for years. And that's how these brands become $600-700 billion companies. With us, it's a little different. It's like, oh, you came out 6 months ago? I'm on to the new. And it's like, hey, I provide the same stuff that other people do. It's just they may be new, but, you know, we're still in this business, and we don't get that same
respect,
you know, customer loyalty is what I call it. It's like you're jumping from brand to brand to brand and not helping that one brand get, you know, grow that, you know, those sales up to where it could be another $1 billion business or whatever. Like, so I don't know. How do you feel about that? Like,
from a marketing point of view, people's brains work differently.
Meaning,
I feel like the struggle was when it comes, like, for instance, Marciano, right? Mm-hmm. That's a name brand, and people appreciate their prices no matter how much it actually costs to make. They appreciate the value of that product. But Marciano also was Guess. It's Guess by Marciano. But if Guess had the same designer dress that Marciano had, but it just had the label Guess, for some reason people don't value it as much, even though it was the same exact designer who designed it. Mm-hmm. So, like, for some reason, people value, if you start off high end and you say, hey, I'm going to give you a value, then they appreciate it. But if you're like, hey, I know I have value, but I actually know how to elevate, for some reason, people's brain can't translate that. I don't know why, but yeah.
We caught a lot of flack from that, and going into stores like Ross and TJ Maxx and things like that, because people can't understand why we're in Macy's, but yet we have a specifically designed line for TJ Maxx. They don't see the difference of the quality of the clothing. They just see the brand. Mm-hmm. So the brand is in Macy's and it's in Target or TJ Maxx. Oh, I don't want it anymore.
But and you know what? We have to work on that, people.
Definitely.
Because you know what? Because say that you had like a Ralph Lauren shirt in TJ Maxx, you're like, oh girl, I just got me a good deal.
It's all the same. It's all the same. But it's just like we caught so much flack for that. And I used to tell people all the time, like, it's a business. So you have to understand the business. We're not designing the same stuff we're designing for TJ Maxx is not the same stuff that's going in Macy's. Mm-hmm. The prices is different. Yeah, they want, $19.99 jeans or $24.99 jeans.
No, the quality is different. Yeah,
the quality is much different.
I work for brands where we do like high end. We're in Bloomingdale's, and then we take that same brand, and like in some cases we even done like Costco. But I'm sorry, it's the same brand, but we had to take away a lot of stuff to get it into Costco.
Exactly.
So although you're getting the name brand, you're not getting the same quality.
And it's big money. It's not like somebody's coming to you and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna give you $50,000 to make a line." Quantity. They're talking about like, "Hey, I got a $6 million budget for some stuff."
There's more money for quantity than quality. It is what it is.
I want to put your brand in my store, so you're not gonna take the money because from every other label that goes in there as well, and you're not gonna do it. Like, it's a business, and at the end of the day, people just don't understand.
No, they don't value, because that's why people do Walmart. Walmart be like, yeah, I want 1 million of your product, and then like Saks will be like, I'll take 500. Okay, like the math, it just. On a business point of view, you're like, yeah, I'll find a product for you, Walmart.
Of course, they just don't understand that, but no matter how many times we went down that road and tried to explain it to them, they just don't want it. Even we caught flack from Walmart too. Mm-hmm. Going into Walmart, they think they did like a black sweatsuit, a red sweatsuit, and like 2 T-shirts and a pair of shorts or something like that. And we caught flack from it, but you know, hey, what you gonna do? Mm-hmm. You know.
I have those challenges with my brands as well.
Yeah.
And then, here's like the best part, like, because we were talking about urban. Mm-hmm. So I have a high-end V. Hanley line. If you look, they're dresses. They're very elegant, mm-hmm. Satins, lace, very high-end.
Mm-hmm. I've seen it.
And I am, I'm a brown girl, Black, West Indian.
You're supposed to be cheap.
And not that it's supposed to be cheap, just the fact that I am brown skinned. People are like, oh, she's an urban designer. Do you see the quality of that dress? How is that streetwear? Because that's how I interpret urban is streetwear, not the color of my skin.
Yeah, we used to try to get away from that word.
Yeah.
Initially, when we first had our line, it was like FUBU the collection, urban wear. Mm. And then I think maybe a year or two, not even 2 years in, we changed it from urban wear to sportswear. Because we noticed that urban wear was pigeonholed. Mm-hmm. So like Ralph Lauren and Tommy and all these people would be in this section, but then you'll have Pure Players and Mecca and FUBU over here, and they go, oh, that's the urban section over there. But you're saying, well, the same people that's wearing FUBU was wearing Tommy or was wearing Polo.
Exactly. And Polo, and Ralph Lauren Polo is urban or streetwear. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But once again, let's go back to marketing. They don't really put their marketing dollars in Polo. They put their marketing dollars in Ralph Lauren, and then it trickles down.
Yeah, true. So let me ask you this question. What are some of the pitfalls you faced building your business?
That is a good question. Finding the right partners, finding the right
important.
Financing. I think those two are the
major
ones.
You hit the 1 and the 2, or the 2 and the 1. You definitely hit it on the head.
If you don't have those 2 things, you could have the best dream ever. You could have the best designs ever. But guess what? Those best designs are going to be in someone's stores in about a year because someone else knocked you off. So
it's crazy because when I go out and I speak to different businesses, or just when I'm having regular conversations with people and I'm trying to tell them about the business, it's like you got to pick the best partner you can.
Yeah.
And it's better if you pick a partner that understands the business.
Yeah.
Because just because this person has a ton of money over here, his whole thing is the bottom line.
Yeah.
So if he gives you $1 million and you say it's going to take a year and a half to flip it, and that year and a half comes around and it's not flipped, guess what? That cash supply is cut short.
Exactly.
It's like, no, but give me a couple of more months. I'm just there. I'm almost turning the corner. And it's like, nope, I don't want to hear it. You said a year. But if you catch somebody that's in the business that understands how things go,
right,
you're much better off.
And I think you also have to have a team that also understands, because I feel like especially in the urban time, because like that was fun. Like I used to work for like Rockaware. Mm-hmm. It's like that era, we were all kind of like figuring it out as it go, kind of. You know what I mean? We just had talent. And, certain people had like leverage to get into the stores, so we were able to show our talent. But I think a lot of it was figuring it out and being blessed. Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying, having a good team around you, because like if you have a good team, you don't have to know everything. You know what I mean? If you have a good team, but you have someone that understands budgets, you have another person that understands financing, and you have a good design team, you have a good production team. Like if you have all these key people in place, those people will help you keep on track, so you can manage your time and your money better. Yeah. And I feel like at least I'm gonna speak from like me, even when I had my company, the money was coming in, but if I knew what I knew now, how to manage my money, things would be way different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We live and we learn.
Yeah.
Because for us, when we first started, money was coming in, but it was going right back out, and then it was going out to stuff like we were buying fabric that was catching on fire, didn't even know it was flammable like that. And then somebody, I remember sitting in the house and dropped ash or a piece of flame on their clothes, and the whole thing lit up, and we were
Right.
like, okay.
And that's what production is for. If you have someone in production that knows stuff
exactly.
like that, you could avoid those mistakes.
Exactly. Like having, like you're totally right. A lot of people try to do it themselves, and I tell people all the time, listen, you can't do everything yourself. This thing is called fashion business because that business, whether it's music, whether it's fashion, whatever it is so huge. Like you need merchandisers and advertising department, marketing department, PR, especially back then. You know, nowadays they could skirt around it, but you know, there wasn't no social media, so you had to have relationships with the magazine people. Yeah. Like it was just so many things that was going on that you had to have your finger on the pulse on. I remember one year when we you know, because we only thought we was gonna have like 3 years in the game. Like we were super paranoid and super nervous. We was like, listen, this is not gonna last. We're gonna be here 3 years and then we out. You know. But we were able to get over that hump. But one of the things that we noticed that was very fruitful for us was developing our presence overseas. Have you done that? Have you started looking about developing your presence
I'm open
overseas?
to it.
Okay.
I'm definitely open to it. Like, yeah, I'm flexible to anything. That's exactly why I developed 2 brands, because I do have the V Hanley brand, but then we have the GL brand, and the GL brand is more like a competitive price customer,
check it out.
athletic wear. So that's why we separated them. So we still have the the quality. Both of them are quality, more couture, and then we have like your more casual brand. So, that has more flexibility.
Now, let me ask you something. Do you ever feel, I know for us, when we developed FUBU and then Platinum FUBU, they were competing with each other. Do you feel your brands are competing with each other?
I don't think so, because they're like kind of 2 different looks. They're similar customers. I kind of feel like my customer is almost the same when it comes to both of them, but like V-Hand is a little bit more mature customer, and GL is like a younger customer. So like GL is like, yeah, I'm here in college, but when I finish, school and I, get my degree, I'm gonna buy that V Hanley, product. So, but I feel like they're kind of in the same vein. Like they're sexy, cool, but not too flashy.
Okay, because I know for us when we. And developing Platinum FUBU just came out of nowhere. Like one of the designers had a great idea. He was like, listen, Iceberg is putting out all this stuff. We can go get Bill Cosby. We could do a black version of, and deal with it like that. So we were like, all right, cool. Let's put it out. So it was only something that was like in for like a season. But it wound up taking off. And then what happened, it started taking off so well that people didn't want FUBU.
Oh, really?
Like they was like, I just want Platinum FUBU, and we was like, okay, but this costs like a pair of Platinum jeans costs twice as much as a regular pair of FUBU jeans, and but it was like competing with each other, and they didn't really want to buy FUBU. We was like, listen, all it is a little more bells and whistles on FUBU, like But we had an issue with that, but it didn't last long. We did a couple of runs and we switched it up, so that worked out for us. I know when we first started, we stopped a few times, like 4 times. Did you ever feel like quitting? I mean, we didn't quit, but we were like...
I had to slow down? Yeah, I had to slow down.
Some people don't recognize it. Like, when I talk to people, some people don't recognize when you really just need to pause and reset. It's not really quitting, but it's like pausing and reset.
I did. We started... V Hanley did their first Fashion Week show in 2016. That was like Cinderella moment. It was an amazing show. And then we started getting into stores, and it's just like, and started getting into magazines. You're like, oh, okay, cool. But I didn't have the right partnership. I didn't have the right support. It was, although we were in magazines, literally just me and my cousin and supposedly another partner who I'm thankful for the stuff that he did finance, but he wasn't consistent. And then he was paying for like the marketing stuff. But when it was like, I need the money for the production, what's up? Like, and so, so then when he didn't come through the production, I already put my stuff, my promises in, so I had to come up with the financing for the production. But now I'm kind of like chasing everything, meaning like
Right.
I didn't set it up correctly because I had to make loans. So now I'm paying back these high interest loans to make sure that I make my delivery. And so it just wasn't, I was shipping, I was in stores, but the money just wasn't adding up because
Right.
I wasn't playing right. I didn't have the right support.
Right.
So eventually I just had to say, you know what, let me take a back seat. And then also I started seeing in stores like, hey, that looks just like my product that was online. And that looked like my product that you saw in the fashion show. So I was like, you know what, instead of me like keep designing stuff that other people are making money on, let me just fall back a little bit. So I went and started working back in the industry again. And actually, I went back to school. I got my master's in innovational entrepreneurship. And I was just telling someone, this story. Sometimes your setbacks is made to set you up. So I went back to school. And, I could design anything because I've been doing this for like 20 years, so no problem. But they were like, yeah, you can't design like a shirt. Your product has to be something that people could actually utilize. Like that has to be your thesis, and you have to prove it that people actually want it and scale it up. And I'm like, okay. And I had a bunch of different ideas, and, either it didn't make sense or financially I just couldn't do it in 12 months. Or I didn't have the skill set to do it in 12, because you had to have the skill set, you had to have the experience to make sure that you could implement it in 12 months, and the money to actually do it.
Right.
So I was like, okay, this has to make sense. So after a bunch of different ideas and research, I came up with the solar panel bag, just for like the school project. And then when we tested it, people were like, oh, I like it. Because originally we were just targeting like college students and maybe, some young professionals. But then when we were testing it, people were like, yeah, my 12-year-old son wants it. Or like 75-year-old ladies and men was purchasing it. And like there was no, because most of my stuff for V. Hanley is women.
Right.
So it was just like men and women equally wanted this product, young and old wanted this product, and like people actually was like, I need this in my life like yesterday.
Right.
So I graduated, 4.0 valedictorian.
Hey.
And then I was like, you know what? I really believe in this product. So I took all the money that I have, and my mom also gave me some money for the production, and we just was like, let's do this. So we actually, thank God, we had some pre-orders, and now we're pushing, getting into stores right now. We're about to be in Magic. So yeah, we're moving. And when I said set up, so part of the thing is you have to learn how to do a pitch deck. So I did my pitch deck, and then as soon as I graduated, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do some pitch competitions. And I joined this pitch competition, and I lost. And I was like, okay, what did they have? I didn't expect to win. It was my first time, but I was just like, what did they have that I didn't have? And I was like, the person who won had like an awesome team around him. So I was like, all right, let me get my team up, and I'm gonna come back and do this, right? So I get my team up. Everyone that's on my team is like qualified, right? So I come back to the competition. And you know what he did? Because it was like an online thing. So, like I said, I'm a brown person. So, and everyone, all these competitions, you're usually the only, person of color, and a lot of times only female, right? So all of a sudden he sees like, these people coming online, and all of a sudden when it was time to vote, because half of it was like the people online, and the other half was like the judges. The judges was like 50-50, and all of a sudden you see all these people. He's like, oh, we're not going to let the people vote today. We're going to do this a little differently. And I'm like, what? I was like, you changed the rules because you saw that I was going to win?
Man.
And then, like I said, it was 50-50. Like, there was 2 judges that was like me, and 2 judges was like someone else. And then he muted it, and then all of a sudden one of the judges changed their mind. So the other person won. I was like, how messed up is that? I was like, you know what? What's new? You know what I mean? I'm okay with that. I rise to the occasion no matter what. But reason why I said that was that gave me the team that I didn't have in 2016. So now when I'm doing my production, if I don't know something, it's okay. It's like I have an engineer that knows it. I also have I'm good at production, but that's all right. I have another production person that can help me. I have a CFO that knows the financing. So we make our deadlines now. Like, so if I don't know something, I have a team behind me that helps me get through things. So far we've been on course because I have a strong team behind me, which I did not have in 2016. So I feel like I know things are going to be different. Yeah. So yeah.
You definitely can't do it by yourself. And like you said, having the right people around you helps you, majorly. Just even if you have questions that you don't know, what you would have to go Google or pick up a phone and go call somebody. When you have that team around you, you could just walk in the next room and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or what are your ideas on that? And, and
it's
get that instant.
It's help. Even with the factories, my factory's like, oh, we're going to have to be late. I was like, nah, there's no definition of late. I'm always on time. I make my deadlines. You got to figure this out. And then they had tried to play me with the zippers. I was like, well, I got another factory that could do it. I was like, I'll put them on the line. Once they realized that I had a team behind me and, other factories that could work with me, they were like, oh, whatever you want. And all of a sudden, there was no problems. There was no missing, no deadlines. Everyone was on point. So, yeah, when people know that you have a support behind you, they move differently.
So you started this line in 2016?
The V Hanley, 2016.
And how about the GL line?
The GL line was launched during COVID. In 21.
Now, how was COVID for you? Because I like to ask that question, too. I know for me, it was almost like my baby was dying or something. I was building FUBU Radio at the time, and I just turned the corner with FUBU Radio, and then here comes COVID. And then I'm like, okay, what do I do? But not understanding, because we've never been in this situation before, not understanding that having a radio station was actually entertainment for people who were at home. So my numbers didn't drop as I thought they would.
Right.
And people actually tuned in more than I thought they would. So we were kind of cruising through COVID, but I know a lot of people, a lot of companies, even when I go out and I'm looking at something, I'll Google something, oh, I'm going to go to this restaurant, I want to go here, and not physically pick up the phone, and then I get to the restaurant and it's closed, it's not there anymore, or, and I'm like, man, a lot of people didn't make it through COVID. So did you feel you would make it through COVID, or did you have that uncertainty like everybody else?
I didn't know if I was gonna make it, not just through fashion, but life.
No, life. I understand.
I was sick for
okay.
2 months. I didn't know if I was gonna. Actually, now that you said that, I was really, really sick. Didn't know if I was gonna make it. I was making some prayers. And at that time, I said, if I get through this, I want to do some things differently.
Yeah. I didn't, I was going through the whole thing where people were kind of bashing me because I didn't want to get the shot. I just thought it was a little quick that they developed it. And I always kind of read between the lines. So I usually start thinking about what you don't say. Not what you're saying to me, is what you're not saying to me, that I start. My antennas just go up really quick. So when I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, it's all of this bad stuff going on and everything's bad and bad. There's no good coming out of this anywhere like this. And then I started listening. Oh, if you take the shot, you won't catch COVID. And I started seeing people that was healthy taking the shot and got the shot and stayed catching COVID, and they was actually dying. And I was like, okay, well, this is not adding up to me. And then after that, I just kind of watched it, and I went through the whole COVID. I didn't get COVID at all until the end, and which I don't even think that was COVID. I think they was just trying to tack on, they was getting paid for that. So they was trying to tack on some extra money, because every time I took a COVID test, it took anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to give me my results. This lady told me my results in 10 seconds. And I was like, huh? What you mean? How did it do? She was like, oh, no, it's COVID. That's the truth. And I'm like, I don't know. And it wasn't I didn't have any symptoms. I just had a little cough, and I felt, a little sick, a little under the weather. But it was like everything was COVID. You know, you go in there, you get your foot shot off. It was, oh, he died from COVID. Like it was, you know. So
it was a lot.
but I didn't get it until the end. Now, I was around people. My wife caught it twice. We never separated. I slept with her, and I just never caught it because I was putting stuff in my body that I felt can help me battle that, you know. And but just the people that was just coming at me though, like, oh, and I'm like, bro, you coming at me, but you ain't saying nothing about what this TV and media and everybody saying to you, and it's not adding up. But you ain't got nothing to say about that. But you worried about what I put in my body? And bye. And get out of here. So, before we get out of here, so tell people where they can find your products and where they can find you at too.
Okay. You could go to vhanley.com. You could buy all of our products there, the Geo line and also the V Hanley line. And I think you have video, so I'm just gonna show the video.
You brought the bag?
Yes,
oh
this is
man.
The bag.
Okay.
So you could charge your phone, electronic device at any given time. All you have to do is just plug it into your phone, and it's ready to go. And then also, the beauty of it is while you're outside, see, as you can see, it charges. So like you could be chilling right now and you don't have to worry about finding a plug if you can't find one. Or like even if you're like at Starbucks, you don't have to worry about that. It's got you covered. And then like when you're walking outside or like after you're at a sporting event or something like that, the bag actually absorbs the sun and charges it to the battery. So when you're ready to go later on, you still got power no matter what.
How long does the battery last?
The battery itself lasts about 2 phone charges.
Okay.
Depending on your phone, 1 or 2 phone charges. Okay. And then the solar panel, it takes about 3 to 4 hours, depending on how much sun it is, to charge the battery. But you could actually, the way ours is set up, you could actually charge your phone or your electronic device and the battery at the same time. Okay. So you could actually charge like 3 different devices all at the same time if you needed.
Okay, all right. That's hot. I like that.
Yeah.
And you said that where you can find that on the same site?
You could go on the site, vhanley.com. And then also you can go on Instagram. Our Instagram page is vhanley NYC. Okay.
And anywhere, any other socials that they can find you on?
And also you could go to V Hanley Designs as well. Those 2 are the main ones. We could go to.
Okay. Well, Vedeta, I appreciate you pulling up on me today. I look forward to seeing more of your work.
I'm excited. Yeah,
your website is dope. I've seen some stuff on there. I was like, okay, all right, she's doing her thing.
Definitely thankful.
So I appreciate you pulling up on us today, all right?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, Mr. Keeyzo's Corner, we out, y'all.
All right,
Peace.
Thanks.